Today, we are diving into a really cool blueprint for building better digital citizens. It's a project called No Trace for Tomorrow, and it's all about getting the next generation ready for the online world.
So, let's start with the big question, right? How do we teach kids to be heroes online, not just survivors? Well, that's exactly the mission behind this international project we're going to break down.
The project No Trace for Tomorrow is this amazing 8-week collaboration. It connects students from Turkey and Greece, all between 11 and 14 years old, with one huge goal: to master the skills they need to become really thoughtful, creative digital citizens.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at the digital challenge these kids are up against, follow them as they start their journey, see how they battle online dangers, watch them become creators, and then, finally, we'll check out the blueprint they've left behind for the rest of us.
First up, what's the core challenge here? It's realizing that the internet isn't just a tool anymore, it's a whole world. And it's a world with a ton of hidden rules and some very real risks that, let's be honest, young people are often left to figure out all by themselves.
And that's where this journey kicks off. This is about making that critical shift, from just being a passive user of the internet to becoming an active, educated participant. Let's see how they get those first steps right.
Their 8-week mission plan is, wow, really thought out. It starts with the absolute basics: safety and community building. Then it dives into the heavier stuff like digital footprints, privacy, and cyberbullying. And it all leads up to a big final showcase.
So one of the very first things they learn is this idea of the digital footprint. It's the concept that really nothing you do online ever truly goes away. Every single click, every post, every search, it all leaves a trace. And getting that is like step one for being responsible online. But hey, it's not all just abstract theory. The project jumps right into hands-on, collaborative stuff. Students use tools like Canva and Padlet to create and share digital intros, and they even trade welcome videos with their partner schools in a whole other country. They're building a real community from day one.
All right, next, the students basically go from the classroom to the front lines. They start battling digital dangers. This is where they learn how to face online threats, but, and this is key, they do it in a super controlled and safe environment.
And I absolutely love this method. I mean, to tackle a topic that could be kinda dry, like password security, they don't sit through lectures, no way. Instead, they get to create their own password superhero, which totally turns learning about data protection into something creative and fun.
This question, so simple but so powerful, should I share this, is right at the heart of their privacy training. It's the main theme of a quiz they take, and it really forces them to just stop and think before they post anything online. Honestly, it's a question we could all probably stand to ask ourselves a little more often.
So you might be wondering, how do they keep all this exploration safe? Well, with a rock-solid set of rules. No personal data gets shared, everything is supervised by teachers in closed groups, and they need parent permission for everything. It's basically like creating a secure digital sandbox where they can learn and even make mistakes safely.
The project also takes on the really tough issue of cyberbullying, and it does it through role-playing. Here's why that's so effective. The students aren't just told what to do. They actually get to practice how to respond. They're building emotional and tactical muscle memory for these incredibly difficult situations. And to fight misinformation, the students become media detectives. It's a 3-step process. First, a workshop, then some hands-on practice with tools like reverse image search, and finally, they create their very own fact-checking checklists. This is how you learn to be a critical thinker online, not just a passive scroller. Okay, now we hit a really critical turning point. The students go from defense to offense. They stop just learning about the web and start learning how to actively shape it for the better.
Here's a look at their digital toolkit, and what's so cool is that every single tool is tied to a specific creative mission. They're not just messing around, they're mastering the same professional-level platforms that people use in the real world to build everything from PSAs to virtual art galleries.
The whole project's philosophy is built on these 3 pillars. See, it's not just about what you know. It's about combining that knowledge with practical skills and, maybe most importantly, growing attitudes like empathy and respect. That holistic approach is what makes a true digital citizen. And the results? You can actually see them. Get this, in just 8 weeks, these students made over 20 different posters and infographics. That is a massive amount of creative work where they're not just learning stuff, they're actually teaching other people.
So that brings us to the grand finale of their journey, the blueprint for tomorrow.
Let's see how all these skills get tied together in their final showcase and what the lasting impact really is.
The final showcase isn't just one big project. It's a whole collection of their work. It's a mix of creative stuff, like their public service announcements and their virtual exhibition, but what's just as important are their own self-reflections and how they evaluated their peers' work.
This quote from the student self-reflection forms is just so powerful. It changes the focus from "what did I make" to "how did I grow?" The project's real success is measured by the internal change that happens in each student.
So, what's the treasure they get to take home after all this? Well, it's way more than just a certificate. They leave with a full portfolio of their work, real-world skills to keep them safe online, and a virtual exhibition they can be super proud to share. These are things that will help them for years.
And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The project totally succeeds in its main mission: transformation. Students come in as passive consumers and they walk out as active, responsible, and empathetic citizens who are ready to make the digital world a better place.
And that really gets you thinking about the bigger picture. And it leaves us with one last, really crucial question. What if this program wasn't just a special project, but a standard part of every kid's education? Just imagine, how would our digital world change for tomorrow? Definitely something to think about.